Hi everyone, I'm the Tax Pro, and today I'm going to walk you through setting up a brand new company with Xero. So I have gone ahead and I have added a new organization called ABC Corporation to my Xero account. What's going to end up happening is you are going to get put into this setup from Xero. So I'm going to walk you through this with this fictitious or fake company so that you guys can get a feel for what you're going to be doing when you set up your company in Xero. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the display name and the legal and trading name. Now you may have a display name, might be different, okay, than your actual legal name. Perhaps we're just going to put in a DBA, so doing business as. So this business does business as ABC Creative, but the legal name is ABC Corporation. You then want to select your organization type. So there's a variety of different organizations that we can put in here. We can put a C corporation, which is going to be like if your business is a corporation. There's a couple of different options here for LLCs. So we can have an LLC taxed as a C corp, an LLC taxed as a partnership, or an LLC taxed as an S corp. There's also an option for an S corporation, a single member LLC, which is going to be an LLC that's one owner, is taxed as a sole proprietor, or a sole proprietor. I'm going to go ahead and put an LLC taxed as an S corporation. Next, we're going to talk about our contact details. From here, you're going to add additional data such as your postal address or your mailing address, and then your physical address. So I'm just going to make this You can copy the postal address to the actual physical address if it's the same. You can also put social media links in here. These will appear on your online invoices. So if you want to put those on there, you're welcome to. You do not have to. Then we're going to go to financial settings. So this is going to be a little bit confusing for some of us. So when it comes to fiscal year end, if you are in the US, most likely your fiscal year end is always going to be December 31st. Okay. The only time that you're going to have a different fiscal year end is if you have applied to have a different fiscal year end with the IRS. Okay. You can change this, but if you're not sure when it should be, it is most likely going to be December 31st. It is very, very rare to have a fiscal year that is not December 31st for a small business unless you have a C corporation, okay? If you have a C corporation, you may have a different fiscal year end. Sales tax. This is going to be where you fill out if you are on cash or accrual basis for sales tax. If you are not sure if you are on cash or accrual basis, most likely you are on cash. If you do not have to collect and remit sales tax, you can select none. And if you don't know this information right now, you can always change this later. Okay, so then you can put your tax ID number, and then you can have, how often do you file sales tax returns? So I'm going to put none for now. If you're not sure, just skip this part, okay? Then it wants to know your time zone. We're just going to leave it at Pacific. Okay, so invoice settings. So if you don't send invoices, you can skip this particular step. If you do send invoices, you can use this particular area to alter the appearance of your invoices, but you can always change this, right? So you choose to skip this step at this time, that's okay. You can always change this later down the road. So I'm going to just select yes, that we do have invoices that we're going to send out. You'll notice here there's an area that we can upload the logo, and then you'll notice that we can go ahead and edit our branding theme. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of this because that would be a very, very long video, but you can go in and edit your invoice settings at this point in time. Now, it is also going to take you to a user section. I am going to pause for a moment at this step just in case it starts pulling employees in, and then I will see you in the next step. Okay, so in the past step with invite users, you can invite some additional users to collaborate on that particular file. I skipped that just because it's going to start pulling in employee information and potential client information. Now we're going to move on to currencies. So you don't have to add additional currencies if you're just working with US dollars. Xero will help you if you are dealing with alternative currencies. So for example, if you are selling something into another country that utilizes a different form of currency, you can have that currency in there as well. And you can actually send invoices in that other currency. And then when that company pays you or that individual pays you in a different currency, Xero will help you calculate the amount of money that you have either lost or gained due to conversion rates. That's kind of an odd concept, so I'm not going to go into depth with that. Point being, if you're not doing business in other countries that is using other currency types, just skip this part. Now we're going to talk about tax rates. So Xero is kind of a little weird in that every time you have a transaction line item, you put a tax rate on there. You don't have to have tax rates in here. It's not necessary. So this is going to give you some different tax rates. I'm going to go over taxes in Xero in a later video, so we're just going to skip this for right now. Now you can also now choose setting up your chart of accounts. You can use the default chart of accounts provided by Xero that you can later modify, or you can import a file and have your chart of accounts. So we're going to use the default with the understanding that later down the road we can change these. Now that we're using the default chart of accounts, this is going to show us what this looks like. This is what QuickBooks is going to set us up with. We can always modify these later, okay? We don't have to modify them right now. My preference is to get in there and then just get going. So this is going to say no bank accounts added. That's okay. We're going to add those at a different time. Now this wants us to put our account balances in. So what this is saying is, what is the date with which you are going to start utilizing Xero? So when are we going to move from a different accounting system, if you have a different accounting system, to Xero? We're going to start using this in June 2025. And then this is telling us, okay, great. Our next step is going to be that we're going to ask you to provide account balances as of May 31st. We're going to keep these at 0. This is what you're going to do if you have a brand spanking new business and there's nothing in there. Just skip right on by. So now our setup's complete. Click finish, and it's going to take you into this part of Xero. Okay, everything is blank, everything is a fresh slate. I did a very, very simple setup. If you are bringing over a business that has a lot of data, that's going to look a little bit different potentially. You would have to enter some beginning balances. I skipped that part because I'm assuming this is a brand new business. You can also skip it if you are bringing in data from another software system. You can skip it, do that simple setup, and then you can go ahead and do a journal entry and enter all your beginning balances at that point in time. So you can do that. It's not like if you have a company that has data in it that you have to go through and you have to finish this, this whole setup process. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this video was helpful. If so, please consider giving us a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.